The True Story of the Three Little Pigs by Jon Scieszka. Everyone knows the story of the three little pigs, or at least they think they do. But I'll let you in on a little secret. No one knows the real story, because no one's ever heard my side of the story. I'm the wolf. Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Al. And I don't know how this whole big bad wolf thing got started, but it is all wrong. Maybe it's our diet? Hey, it's not my fault wolves eat cute things like bunnies and sheep and pigs. It's just how we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably say you were big and bad too. But like I said, this whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. Way back in Once Upon a Time, I was baking a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneezing cold. I ran out of sugar. So I walked down the street to my next door neighbor's house to borrow a cup of sugar. And this neighbor was a pig, and he wasn't the brightest either. He built his house of straw. Can you believe it? Who in their right mind builds their house of straw? And of course, the minute I knock on the door, it falls right in. And I didn't want to just walk into someone's house, so I yell, little pig, are you in?" No answer. And I was about to go home without my cup of sugar when my nose started to itch. And I huffed, and I snuffed, and I sneezed a great sneeze. And wouldn't you know it, the darn straw house just fell down. And there, in the middle of a pile of straw, was the first little pig, dead as a doornail. He'd been home the whole time. Now it seemed like a shame to just leave a perfectly good ham dinner lying there, so I ate it up. Think of it like a cheeseburger, just lying there. And I was starting to feel a little better, and I still didn't have my cup of sugar, so I went to the next neighbor's house. And this neighbor was the first little pig's brother, and he was slightly smarter. He built his house of sticks. So I ring the doorbell on the stick house. No answer. And I call, Mr. Pig, are you in?" And he yells back, "Go away, wolf, you can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs on my chinny chin chin." And I had just grabbed the doorknob on the door when I felt another sneeze coming on. And I huffed, and I snuffed, and I tried to cover my mouth, but I sneezed a great sneeze. And you're not going to believe it, but this guy's house fell down just like his brother's. And when the dust cleared, there was the second little pig, dead as a doornail. Wolf's honor. You know, food will spoil if you just leave it out in the open, so I did the only thing there was to do. I had dinner again. Think of it like a second helping. And I was starting to get awfully full, but my cold was starting to feel a little bit better, and I still didn't have my cup of sugar. So I went to the next neighbor's house. And this neighbor was the first and second little pig's brother, and he must have been the brains of the family because he had built his house of brick. So I knock on the brick house. No answer. And I call, Mr. Pig, are you in?" And do you know what that rude little porker answered? "Get out of here, wolf. Don't bother me again." Talk about impolite. He probably had a whole sack full of sugar, and he wouldn't even give me one little cup for my dear old sweet granny's birthday cake. What a pig. And I was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead of cake for my dear old granny when I felt my cold coming on. And I huffed, and I snuffed, and I sneezed once again. And the third pig yells, "Your old granny can sit on a pin." Now I'm normally a pretty calm guy, but when you talk about my granny like that, I go a little crazy. When the cops drove up, of course I was trying to break down his door. And the whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a great scene. And the rest, as they say, is history. And so when the news reporters found out about the two pigs I had for dinner, they thought a story about a sick guy looking for a cup of sugar wasn't very exciting. So they jazzed it up with the whole huff and puff and blow your house down. And they made me the big bad wolf. And that's it. That's the real story. I was framed. But maybe you could loan me a cup of sugar?